It's a new day. Welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host, and Disembodied Hands, Queen Quindy, Justin, John, and hey, little Miss Walk Away, come here. Oh, and Kiki. Yes, good girl. Good girl. Kiki's a little unsettled today because David left this morning a while ago to go to Adepticon. And apparently she understands the distinction between David going to work and David having a suitcase. Oh, you silly goofus. Quit nomming on my wrist. Oh, quit nomming on my wrist. Go, go, go. All right, you. Go, go, go. Good girl. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Yeah, you're a good girl. Okay, go settle, okay? Go settle. Mama's got to work. But yeah, so she's been, she hardly finished a third of her breakfast. I had to tempt her with a topple filled with pumpkin and canned food. So yeah. Oh, what did she, milestone. 3 consecutive streams this month. Watch streak. Boom. Awesome. Yeah, she knows the difference. So, which is weird, right? Because I tried to keep everything as normal as possible, but things have been weird anyway. Things are weird anyway. And also I'm a sleep deprived Dan because book. Oh, I almost want it to I just need to separate it. Luckily Overwatch League starts today. So yay, I'll have a distraction because I wake up at 6:10 a.m., which is an hour earlier than I usually do. And I'm just like that. So yeah. Oh, dearie me. But thank you, everybody, for your book support. I'm pretty sure the categories that we are actually, high in are, just these tiny little niche categories. But I haven't checked my sales dashboard. I've just decided I'm not going to worry about it. I don't need one more thing to obsessively check. So I'm just going to assume that we're doing well in little niche categories, especially for a first novel, and we'll be good. It's been weird because the book came out, Pendrake, and so I've just been really distracted. And then Doglit is disrupted because David left this morning for Adepticon with the suitcase. Apparently the suitcase was the tip-off that it was not a normal day. So she didn't eat her breakfast, and I gave her some treat stuff instead. But yeah. And Turgeon, thank you. Reviews are what it's all about now. And okay, ironies, Turgeon. I got your email yesterday about the fixes to make, and then our power went out. David was laughing his butt off at me. It was serious. I was like, yeah. Yeah, Shadow Raven for sure. Yeah, she's only seen him use a suitcase once. It's hard. The problem is, Pendrake, I'm it's so exciting, right? It's my dream. And so it's really hard to just do it in moderation. I almost, for me, when it's like this, I almost have to just stop looking. So I'm going to do my post on Facebook today, which I hadn't done yet. And then I think I'm just going to let it go. Just let it go. 'Cause yeah. I mean, it's exciting and cool, but yeah, I need to get back to my editing on book 2. And just I need to get my brain out of the fog. Cause my brain, is very excited by all this. Very excited. So yes. Where'd my glasses go? Oh, there they are. Oh. TSA is excited about David's miniature case because Iron Man is recognizable. It's a good problem, Big Chimpo. I don't know. I didn't see you on yesterday, but we discovered I was a #1 bestseller. And it's it was totally shocking. But it's a little niche category. And so, it was probably pretty easy to hit it. I don't know. But all the books around me are thousands of reviews. So it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's kind of weird. So, but yeah, so I think what I think is that we are doing well, especially for a first novel. From an unknown author first novel, this is extremely well. I would not, I can't even. But also, reality check There are tiny little categories. It's probably really easy to get that status. And I can't see, like, I could check my Kindle dashboard, but I don't think Amazon actually will tell me my book sales. Like, I think I can do Kindle. I can check on Kindle. I think I can check on Kindle Unlimited, but it says it's not super accurate. So I won't know. I won't know until I get a check at the end of, or at the beginning of. I don't know if it's the beginning or the end of. I'd have to check. But it's like full month cycle. So not this coming month, but the next month, I think May, beginning of May. Oh, yeah. Like, it could have come out and just disappeared. And a lot of that is due to you guys. Like, honestly, it's a lot of you who came out and supported my book. And I am so grateful. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I dropped a post on Instagram yesterday and my Twitter. Just to push it out a bit, and then today is Facebook, and then I just have to like take a deep breath and just let it do what it's gonna do. But what this does do is it gives me huge hope for book 2 and 3 and 4, like, because I'm just getting started, like, and I'm so excited about the next 3 books because I've been waiting to tell these stories for years. So yeah, so if I do this well just out the gate, then there's real hope that I can scale it once I get more books out. So that's super. And I'm doing this at $4.99. Like, if I had priced my book at 99 cents, like everybody tells you to, I would be getting a lot more traction, and I would probably be hitting higher on the bestseller list. But I'd rather not sell my book for that until I've got more than one book out. So, yeah, airport security. Oh, yeah. Sometimes the security people at the airport are just not all over it. All right, so we want to finish our armor. So we've got like the backs of the legs here. We got the front of this one leg here. It needs more work. And maybe the interior here. We did get the top done last time, so let's get in focus. But yeah, so I have no idea what my actual success level is. I did screenshot one thing. I couldn't keep myself from checking late last night. Which was really cool, and that was that we actually hit below rank 50,000 in the Kindle store, and I got down to number 6. That's not just new releases, that's in general. And I almost have hit the top 100 there, and I've moved up to 48 there. So we've gone down a little bit. Oh yeah. That's good, Turgeon. Yeah, if any of you do read it, like, seriously, I know a lot of people buy books and then you just don't have time to read them right away. I totally get it. I do the same thing. But if any of the others of you like actually finish it, reviews are where it's at now. Like, that becomes our priority one, because you can have a number 1 bestseller tag on you, but if you've got no reviews, you've got no social proof. Like, that's the next after the cover and the blurb and the look inside and read the first chapter. It's reviews that people look at. So we gotta do it. 10 reviews. That's my goal. It might take a while at $4.99, but we'll see. Hopefully there's some people picking up in Kindle Unlimited and they'll finish it. So, all right. Because there's an incentive to finish it for Kindle Unlimited, since you can only have so many books stored in your Kindle Unlimited. All right, let's mix up some paint. But yeah, so I was looking at when we hit the top 50,000, below the top 50,000 in the Kindle store, I think that the average sales are between 1 and 5 a day for that. Just to give you guys a ballpark, I think. Like, everybody's guessing at all this stuff, right? Because Amazon's a black box. But I think that's around where it is, which is astonishingly good for first book. So we shall keep going. And it does super hyper motivate me to get on book 2 and actually get it out, like, on the earlier side of my window. Like, actually get it out, like, right away in September. So I'm glad you really enjoyed it, Turgeon. Like, my whole thing, like, okay, it would be nice to make a little money, but I think the best thing, I was talking to David about this yesterday, I'm like, the thing I really love about this is just finding people who, like, feel the magic in this book the way that I do, and vibing with them. Like, because this is the kind of book that I would just devour as like a teenager or a kid or even now, if I found a book like mine out there that wasn't mine, I would be all over it. So yes, the Amazon algorithm gives a boost to confirmed purchaser reviews. That's all we want. That's all we want, for sure. Which is why I didn't ask my beta readers to jump in and do that, because they didn't actually buy it, right? They just got it from me, my brother, and you guys know one of my other beta readers is Brian Pearsall, who's one of the painting instructors at ReaperCon. One of my friends, longtime friend. He's going to read the next one too. So, Turgent, I haven't asked you, but do you want to be like a beta for me? Like, if so, just drop me an email. Because you caught that word drop, and I can tell that you're attentive, and I need somebody who's going to be that attentive to the work and flag me on mistakes. Awesome. Excellent. I'll put you on my list. That was the hardest thing, finding people to actually beta read the first book when I was like, when they didn't have any clue if I was any good. All right, so we're doing our 2-to-1 mix. I'm just setting up my basic mix so that I can use it for glazing more than anything and for mixing highlights. But yes, you will definitely become one of my beta readers. Anybody else, by the way, if you've got a good critical mind on you, and keep in mind, don't go easy on me. Like, just if you came up to me and asked for a miniatures critique, and you were like, be hard on me because I want to get better. Like, that's where I am. So be hard on me. I want to get better. So anybody else, it's Anne, at aebeckerwrites.com, the email. Just send me an email if you want to be in my beta reader. And then you will get early access to the books in their like infant form. If you could proofread Gary Gygax, you could tackle anybody. This is true. Although, you know what? I have an admission. When I was a kid, I loved the Gord the Rogue series. Like, his Gord books. I loved them. I went back and reread one, like, later, and I was just like, oh my god, this is so lit RPG. Like, so it is so a D&D game, right? You could just hear the dice rolling. It didn't matter to me when I was 12. I loved them anyway. Oh, Super Carly, thank you. Yes, honest review. No, that's fine. A 4-star is good. Like, I read reviews on books all the time where the person is just short of raving about how much they like the book and they give it a 4-star. Because for them, a 5-star has to be a life-changing book, right? And some people give 5 stars just because, oh my god, this book, like, I love this world, I love the characters, there's really nothing I can complain about, I'm going to give it a 5-star. But everybody's got a different scale, right? If you liked it, give it a review. If you panned it, just email me. I'm sure we'll get the 1-star reviews are actually something you look for as social proof to make sure that somebody's just not trying to game the reviews, but I'm sure I'll get some of those anyway, so. Yeah. What the best reviews are, I think, and this is what I shop and I look specifically at reviews. The best thing you can do is to put like this is something I really liked. Like, I love this character. Like, he's just fantastic, or she's just fantastic, and I love how they have agency and they like take charge of their life, or they dream about things and then they go after it. Things like that. If you could say like what you liked, and then if there was something that like you're like, the only thing that bugged me was blah. Like, those things are the kind of things that are really going to inform a new reader. Like, somebody might complain because my book doesn't have sex in it, even though it's a children's book and it shouldn't necessarily. But, but like, people, those complaints are valuable when you guys probably know when you're reading reviews, because then you're like, oh, this person gave it 2 stars, but their complaint that they have is one that I actually consider a merit. So, that kind of thing. Yeah, Inara, exactly. I think your husband is exactly correct. And that's why. Yeah, and that too. Yeah, if they compare it to other works, that's really good, because then if you do that, what I can do is clip your review and actually put it under the reviews section on my Amazon. So if you're like, people who love Stardust would love this, I can grab that, plop it up there, and use it in advertising copy, which helps me to get word out, right? So all of that is super useful. But just write honest review. Like, honestly, I don't expect you guys to like baby me. Like, I want to be real. Let's get real. If I brought a half-hours miniature to ReaperCon, I would expect you guys to go, well, don't sugarcoat me, baby. I got thicker skin these days. That's a good guide, Kernie. I think, and that's probably how I would too. Like, I would give a 5-star review if I finish and immediately want to grab the next book. With the exception that I did recently read a book that was super, like, grabbed me and hauled me along, even though the language, like the English skills were poor. They definitely were unpolished. Like, they haven't tried to improve their writing. Like, so the actual quality of the writing was at times winsable. And yet the character and the story was good enough, and I wanted to see how it went down, right? So I sucked that book down and totally plowed through the next one, even with the bad writing, because at times you thought the book at times you thought was going to be trite, and at times it was, but then at other times it surprised you by how like realistic the character like stuff was, and so I was like, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah. Yeah, main character is a girl, or the talking animal people are going to come in droves and pan me. Oh, they are totally gonna. And you know what? I'm ready for it, talking animal people. Come pan me. Because you know what? People like me who love talking animals are going to look at your bad review and go, oh, talking animals? I love talking animals. And you have talking animals in fairy tales. Sorry, folks. It's just what it is. It's good, Cornico. It's no rush. But yeah, I mean, that's the attitude to have, is like, and I learned this about mailing lists, and I tried to explain this to my dog club, because when we started our mailing list, I was like, they were like, oh no, we lost members this year. And I'm like, that's okay, because you don't want the members who aren't engrossed. You don't want the members who aren't engaged with you. You want the people who get you and really want to support you. So it's not a failure to lose people off your mailing list. You really, if they aren't into it, you don't want them on your mailing list. You don't want to be sending them those emails and annoying them. Yeah. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. You love talking animals. Well, good, you'll like my book, Lisana. All right, cool. Or you have a chance to like my book, I should say. It's not automatic, but there are definitely talking animals. But yeah, exactly, a Mercedes Lackey. But I love Mercedes Lackey talking animals. Yeah. It's a trope. And it's a trope that I love. And it's a trope that, like, some agents and publishers are just like, oh, talking animal stories. So a lot of people write them. And frankly, if a lot of people write them, a lot of people read them. So it is what it is. But it's just best to remember that, like, 80% of the world or 90% of the world just won't get your book at all. Maybe even 96 or 98% of the world won't get your book. Maybe even 99%, 0.9. But that little section that's left, that really get you, those are the people you want. But yeah, I read a lot of Mercedes Lackey. I'm on Quora, and she is on there giving writing advice. I've mentioned this before. She's phenomenal. She's hilarious. She nails the trolls to the wall. It's beautiful. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Crowley. Exactly. Yes, my super intelligent telepathic horse. Right, exactly. Exactly, Cornico. Well, if you like Mercedes and you'd like to kind of get a groove for who, like, herself, like, I love her Quora posts. I love them. She's merciless. I want to be her friend. All right, we're going to make this highlight, and then we'll make one more highlight, and then we'll get at that leg there. But yeah, Mercedes Lackey, it's funny because, like, when her books first came out, I remember her getting panned as not a serious writer, right? Then she did the Harold Mage trilogy, and a lot of people had to shut up, because she definitely tackles, like, social issues in her books, and she's pretty fearless about it. But I remember that, and I remember, like, kind of as a little baby writer, like, saying, oh, my writing is kind of reading like, because I was reading a lot of her. I'm like, oh, I don't want my work to sound too much like her. But nowadays, I'm like, screw that. If Mercedes Lackey is one of the most beloved authors on the planet, screw you, people who back in the 80s panned her work as not literary enough. Hey, Thormel. Yes. No telepathic ones yet. Keep trying, Kerniko. And be allergic to it. I'm Crowley. Antihistamines, yes. That's why there's that's why I take my allergy pills. I don't have a sun cat. I have a dorky dog, but it's and she's definitely not telepathic. Thank God. All right. Woohoo. Okay. Let's get down here. So I really feel like I need a little bit more highlight down here on this internal part of the leg, because there's going to be light bouncing back up at it. Let's get close. Yeah, the book's doing, for a first novel out of a little me that nobody knows, the book is doing well. I did realize I probably should have hit the hashtag for indie authors under the Instagram post yesterday, but I've never looked for actual, like, author stuff on Instagram. I know all the groups I want to post my miniatures to, but I had no idea. I was like, wow, I've never looked for author stuff on here, so I have no idea what's out there. And oh well, I guess we're just gonna winging it. So we got a little bit of bands right there. We got to get that in. I'm just gonna pick up little tiny touches of detail on some of this stuff. I don't want to go too high with the interior of the leg here, but there is a little bit of light, so we'll bring up just a little bit there on the thigh, or on the calf rather. Yeah. Yeah, I probably won't read it again ever, but I read it at the time. I still love Arrows of the Queen. I still love the first book. Like, that was one of my absolute favorites when I was a kid. I'm gonna mix up some pure white now. Hold on. Haha. I have a CJ Cherry bookshelf. That's my and a Neil Gaiman mostly bookshelf. Those are probably my two. These days I pick up so much stuff on Kindle and not physically, unless it's like a new book by one of those authors that I just want to have a hardcover of or whatever, just because for my collection. One thing I didn't know about Mercedes Lackey that I learned via the Quora stuff is that she and her husband used to rehabilitate raptors. They stopped when a wild bird rescue opened, like, really close to them, and they had better facilities than she and Larry could have. And also they were, as she put it, they were too old to go clumping around through a mile of wait a minute bushes to find a downed bird. But that was pretty cool. So she loves owls and birds of prey. Yeah, I know. I just was reading her Quora update on that. That was just from a couple months ago, Kerniko, and yeah, that's it. We'll see. I mean, she's very pragmatic. I love Mercedes Lackey because she's super pragmatic. She understands that Hollywood is probably going to change her story. She understands that she may not be happy with the result, but she's still willing to give it a try. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense, Quindy. But then it looks like you've never read any of the books. I know. Yeah, one hopes. Fingers crossed. So I'm doing the kind of that dart of light going down there. Usually there's a bit of a crinkle right there at where this plate wraps around the ankle, so you can assume that there's a bend there, even if you can't see it at this scale, and accentuate it. Yeah, I lost most of my Mercedes Lackey books because I had a period of my life where I had to downsize a bunch of my books, and I figured it's weird because most people would keep books that were their favorites, and for some of the books I did, but often my culling process was more, will I be able to pick this up again later when I have more money, more time, more space? And with Mercedes Lackey, the answer was definitely yes. She's going to be in print, so I think that's why I offloaded them, which was a shame because I think I had like a first printing of Arrows of the Queen at the time. I picked it up like right when I saw it on the shelf. And I was a frequent bookstore shopper at that point. Huh. I think for Vaniel you go with somebody, you kind of do somebody who's kind of off the beaten track but out there, kind of like they grabbed Viggo Mortensen for Aragorn, because he was perfect for Aragorn. Oh my god, nobody knew who he was until that point. So you need to find somebody like that, I think, Kerniko. Somebody who's out there but hasn't played a lot of mainstream stuff but is still talented and has the right look and feel. And then you make somebody's career, right? But I'm certain, just like I'm certain there are wonderful books out there that are just not getting read right now because they're not on anybody's radar. I'm certain that there are wonderful young actors out there that could do the job. We'll do a glaze after I get some of this. If it's too rough, I'll end up glazing it. But I'm just going in with my first highlight here. Oh, okay. That sounds really, really familiar. You know what? I'm going to just take a quick screenshot of that on my computer so I don't have to stop and write it down, Turgeon. There. I've got it. Thank you. Yeah, I love Celtic mythology, so rock on. Although I try not to read my own genre when I'm writing actively and I'm about to be plunging back into West of the Moon, so I'll have to put off reading that until it's I've got it in readable first draft version. It goes out to my betas and I can take a brief break. Honestly, when she on Korra, she's like, you could go fishing around to see which one might suit your vibe, Big Chimpo. But Arrows of the Queen, the first one, is she's still like, go back and read Arrows of the Queen. It's from 1982, but it's still like, if you like Arrows of the Queen, chances are you're gonna like a lot of her Valdemar stuff. Yep, exactly, Kerniko, exactly, and that's what she herself said. So because it started everything. You know nothing. If you start later in the series, there are spoilers. And if you start with Arrows of the Queen and read through that first trilogy, you'll get a good feel for her writing style and her characterization and her world without being spoilered on a bunch of stuff that you find out in later books. Yeah, the first books do a lot of world building, and you'll get an idea real quick if you like them or not. They have some serious notes in those books, but they also have a lot of just like feel good characters as well, like some things that make you want to go and live in her world. Oh, my plan is 2 books a year, Turgeon. We'll see if I can do it. I know I can do it this first time because I was already well into, pretty much done with just I was done with West of the Moon, and then I wasn't because it needed a major rewrite. So I trashed the ending, and I'm rewriting it really from scratch. Because the books just have changed over time with the edits and everything from when I first wrote them. So there are some really fun parts in West of the Moon. I just can't wait to put out. And actually, if you read my book and you like those two characters, the two side characters, the novella that I just wrote for the reader magnet for if you sign up to my mailing list is fun. It's a fun story. But it may, if you don't like mailing lists, I understand, and it may eventually come out in an anthology, but we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to try to do 2 books a year. I'm pretty sure that I can, even with and I'm not a fast writer, and I love to go back over stuff and improve it. But I also feel like for the first time in my life, I'm spending a lot of time and brain power, like every day, on my books. Because I actually have the ability to do that now, being a freelancer. And so I feel like now I could actually aspire to 2 books a year, maybe even more, but I'm not going to get too crazy yet. So we're doing that higher highlight. That brings the shine right down the leg. I've still got to hit the top parts here, though. Yep. You know what, though, Agent Marvel? Honestly, and I was exactly there, especially with my first, fantasy series I started long ago and have long since trunked and trashed. Right through it. Just right through it. Make sure, I don't know if your book is done or not, but if your book isn't done, right through it, you can always go back. And any change you make, later in the book or thing that you do later in the book is going to influence that, right? That early decision, so. Yeah, I mean, I liked those. They got a little, I don't know. There was one book that had rape in it, and I'm that's a nope for me. That's a nope for me. I mean, I was sick of it in the 80s. It was everywhere, and as a female, I just noped out of it. I think it was Daughter of the Lion. I don't remember. Yeah, because it's so easy, Agent, to just get caught up on that little fine, just doing it just a little better. No, it's not perfect yet. I've got a brain like that, so I totally get it. Why do you think it took me 12 years to write my first book? It's not true. I did write it in 2 years, but then I edited it for 10. But yeah, because when you get to chapter 10 or 15 or 25, you might do something or write something, you might get a revelation about a character, and that will totally inform that decision back on chapter 3-4 as to where you should split it. So do it, get it all out, and understand that nobody's sitting over your shoulder. Nobody's just going to sit there and tap their foot until your book is out. You have all the time in the world, all the time you need to go back and make it right. But finish the story. Yeah, my coaching lady who I follow, I actually have a coaching appointment with her today, the author of all the books that I've read about this stuff, and the head of the Better Faster Writing Foundation. I'm so excited, but she has talked about people whose brains are when you're a real thinker, when you sit and iterate, and and also you've got a set of strengths and skills that make you want to be best, right? They're looking for best seeking is what she calls it. You can just bog down in trying to find the best and thinking about how to make it the best and what's the best place for this. And so she's remember that the imperfect plan that you can execute is always better than the perfect plan you never do. And that hit real home for me. So I was yeah, so remember that. Don't worry about perfect, because you can make it better. You have the time to make it better. And this is me speaking as somebody who regularly do when I'm about to start writing fresh from a point. I'll go back to the beginning of that chapter or even the chapter before, and I'll read through and I'll edit as I go. And then when I hit the point, I start writing, right? But that's even dangerous sometimes, because it'll, if I really find a part that I can improve, or I write a new scene or something, then I haven't gotten any new progress that day. So we're just putting brighter highlights. We need to see that light going down the leg like that. Well, except that good enough is also, it depends on what you want, all right? I'm reading a book, though, by Seth Godin, and listening to a book by Seth Godin. And he does make a point, is that good enough is seldom going to get you, like, where you want to be if you want to be among the best. So good enough can be good in the beginning because it gets you to finish things. But after that, the slog of committing to make the thing the best it can be is like, that's where, like, you really determine, like, there's a lot of hard work, right? So good enough is seldom good enough to get you really there, like, if you really want to stand out. If you don't want to stand out and you just want to finish a freaking book because you've always dreamed of writing one, then by all means, do whatever you want. Yeah, exactly, Shadow Raven. Yep, and so yeah, I'm afraid that drove me out of that series. Yeah, and that's hard with some brains. Like, and it's not just a choice either. Like, some people are just, like, I'm just a thinker. I need to stop and think about things for a while. And usually I do that on my evening walk. Like, I've worked it into my schedule because I know I need that time to process before I write a scene. If I've thought enough about it, the scene will just come to me. But if I haven't thought enough about it, I'll just be blocked. Like, so I know, that's why I'm one of those writers that walks. Because sometime during that walk, I'll at least get an idea about where to start going. Same with painting, by the way. If I really don't have inspiration for a piece that I'm in the middle of, I'll take a walk and I'll just think about the piece and I'll let myself get excited about it again. And it works a lot. Sometimes it's just not where I'm going, but... So, either way, my creative vibe is very similar. This thing is destroying my will to survive, yeah. Yeah. I don't mind a little bit of the lurking threat kind of thing. But the rape, the outward, like that thing in the 80s that you ran into everywhere, I'm just like, oh. I mean, I even noped out of the Mercy, or not Mercy, what's her name? Moon Called. Is her name Mercy? The were-coyote. Yes, in the tub, yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it's true. And I'm sure there are definitely pursuits in which perfect is the enemy of good enough is definitely a saying, because there is a good enough, right? And your good enough just depends on your brain. Like, for some people, their good enough may be darn near perfect. And some people are just like, nope, I just want it out there. I mean, and there are writers who ascribe to both schools, right? They're the writers that just want it out there, and they'll just like flash through the story and get it out there, and their readers love that. They'll eat it up. They get a book every month and they love it. And the book doesn't have to be perfect; it just has to be a good story. So yeah, there's all sorts of ways to vibe in this world for sure. So we're on our back. We're putting it. I'm doing little ankles first. Yes. Yep. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Yeah, and I just decided not to read the series because of it. You know, not that she needs me. She's doing great. People love her series, but Yeah, and unfortunately, Big Chimpo, that can come back to bite those companies. Eventually, right? The fact that you were relying on jury-rigged code from 10 years ago. And nobody ever remembered that it was even there anymore. Because it's been buried under other code. Yes, Archimedes is good. Yeah, same thing with me with Shadow Raven. I can't watch any of that stuff. Yeah, and it's never documented. Yep, I know. But remember, David is a coder. My hubster. He's talked to me about this. He gets frustrated with it. All right, so let's bring in some light. We need some light on this calf, and it's a rounded surface, so the highlight needs to be round, just like the first highlight was. Yeah, I hear it. Yeah, well, that's, yeah. I mean, even last night, just being excited about my book and not being able to sleep right away, and then I woke up super early. Yeah, my brain gets way too engaged with stuff, and if it's scary stuff or upsetting stuff, it's double bad. So I'm with you guys. I always tell David there's enough like nasty, violent, depressing stuff in the world. I don't need to have it shoved in my face when I'm having fun as well. When I'm trying to relax. So we got those calves nice and round. Now we'll get more of a highlight in the middle there. And how sharp and small your highlight is going to speak to how shiny the surface is. We're keeping our highlights fairly small, but I'm going to actually fuzz that out a little bit by working in my previous highlight. Just want to blend it in a little bit. We don't want to take up too much room either because, you know, we still need this to read as blue-black and not gray armor, so. D&D taught you that fiction is where you have control over your content. Yep. Right, exactly, Big Chimpo. Yeah, I'm really picky about what I read. But every once in a while I find just something that like just totally does it for me. Right now that is, because I often read mysteries when I'm actually actively writing fantasy. Right now that's Louise Penny's Inspector Gamache series. God, I love those. I knew the minute I read that first book, the minute, like the first 3 chapters, I think I was like, this is what I've been looking for. Such language, such good control of language, and still it is technically, I think, a cozy mystery, but different. I love those books though. I think I'm on number 11 or 12, and I think there are 20. She just came out with a new one. She's been writing them forever. So we're busting a lot of highlights here, and we'll probably have to push them back. Yeah, go and read the first one, Still Life, Big Chimpo. And just read it. Like if you really like good language, good writing, solid writing, and she's Canadian and she's writing about Quebec police force commander or homicide chief, and she works in a lot of like Quebec history and politics and just cool stuff I never knew about, right? Because I didn't grow up Canadian, so it's just really, really good. Yeah, it's bigger than cozy usually is, but she still has her cozy town setting with the quirky characters and that you really want to just go and live there, you know? But at the same time, she's also dealing with stuff that's further out, like, but yeah, it's just, she's so good. She's so dang good. And at this point, I don't care what she does because I love her characters enough that I'm just going to stick. I'm going to stick till the end. Unless she does something really, really horrible. I mean, there have been some pretty dark stuff, but it's all... The dark stuff is, like, presented more in atmospheric terms. It's not It's not... There are little details that grab at your heart, but it's not, like, off-putting violent. Yeah, I'm sure when you're dealing with that situation, it's different than when you're writing, doing creative work. These days, to get really noticed in creative work, you have to I think you have to stand out. You have to be good. A lot of people talk about the blue water, red water analogy with Kindle, which is when there's blue water, it means there's a ton of food and there's only a few sharks, which was kind of the Kindle store when it really started blowing up around 2010, 2011, or even earlier than that, 2008, I guess, where you could just publish a book, and as long as you could pump out books fast enough, you could make a lot of money. But now, that's no longer the case because the sharks moved in. So now there's a lot of people trying to be successful in the Kindle store. And so now the only way to get out there is to stand out, is to embrace what makes your book special in your writing and try to capitalize on that. I think that it's also the same in Patreons, and that's why my Patreon does decently, is that I try to capitalize on what I'm good at, which is the paint mixing and paint line design background and stuff like that, which is unique and nobody else really has that. And so that helps my Patreon stand out. Because Patreon's the same thing. Like at first Patreon was new and cool and like everybody was just popping up there. But then it got to the point where you really have to be special to get eyes, or unique. You have to be you. Yeah, it's really personal. Exactly. Yes, exactly. Yep. So this is going to get a little bright here. It looks brighter on camera than it does in person. My camera does seem to do that, but I'm still going to pay some attention to minimizing this after I get my highlights where I want them. No, you're absolutely correct, Big Chimpo. I mean, I'm a big person on everybody as an individual. Like that's an integral part. The power of the individual is an integral part of my personality. And I love that we're all different, and I love how different we are and yet how same we are in many ways. The things we have in common and the things that make us different. And everybody's good enough is different. Yeah. My good enough was I want this book to be professional grade, right? I want a cover that looks professional. I want a professional editor. I want, to minimize mistakes in my book as much as I can. I want to write the best book I can, That was my enough, but it wouldn't be enough for someone else, or it might not be enough for someone else actually, or it might be more than enough, way more than enough for someone else. Everybody's different. It's just like miniatures. Like it's like running into those people at Paint Club who were just wanted to paint the miniature until they were happy with it, and that was their good enough, and they never it was good enough. It was honestly good enough for them. They made them happy. And there's nothing wrong with those people as opposed to the people who come in saying, I want to win a competition, or I want to I want to win competitions. I want to have a Patreon. I want to make this a career or a side gig or whatever, right? Seaside Cafe, huh? Yeah, I mean, any book, even professional, even New York books these days have an error or two. You're just they'll catch them and they'll change it. They'll update their file, and just like everybody else these days. So Seaside Cafe Mysteries, huh? I'll take a screenshot of that one too, because I do love reading cozy mysteries when I'm writing my genre. That's why I want to write a cozy fantasy someday. Let me screenshot that one. Get that one. Boom. Thank you, Agent Marvel. I always love a good recommendation. All right, so got this pretty bright. Yes, Murder, She Wrote is a quintessential cozy type of thing. Cozy mysteries tend to have really likable characters and set in set in a really cool environment that's fairly limited or small. And the main character is always not like professional law enforcement, which is where the Gamache series departs from cozy. And yet it still shares so many of the cozy hallmarks that it still gets called cozy, even though it violates that one general rule of cozy, because he is an inspector of homicide. But yeah, I watched a ton of Murder, She Wrote when I was growing up, even once with magical talking animals. Yeah, there's a lot of fantasy cozy mystery now. Yeah. All right, so that's not too bad. I'm still reading. If I look at it from the side, still reading is pretty dark. I need more highlights up here. Gotta make sure you've got that bright white highlight wherever the light's really going to hit. So, no coffee. So little touches of white up there. And then I want a little tiny bit. There we go. That's shiny. That looks so. Just adding a little pop of white helps to make it shiny. Someday I'll write my cozy fantasy series. I'm still thinking about it right now. It's still percolating. Percolating in the author brain. It's on a back burner. Bubbling away. All right, I need a bright white highlight down the front here as well. You can see how much shinier that leg looks than this leg. Anyone left in that. That's the problem with, and actually I was reading a book on how to write a cozy mystery, and that was the thing that was brought up, is like if you limit your setting too much, you're pretty much going to be labeled Murder Central, because there's nobody still alive. Many cozy mystery writers get around that by having their sleuth travel a little bit. That lets them explore a new setting that they can flesh out and avoid the this town, X town is murder central trope. Put a little bit of an under highlight down here underneath the knee, just a little tiny bit of shine right there. Yeah, Agatha Christie is also listed as cozy. She was like the quintessential cozy writer. And I do love me some Agatha Christie, so. Little touches of white to really bring out that shinies. We're starting to get shinies. I'm going to take a look at it. All right, that's starting to come around really nicely, actually. Yeah, Oxford. So many cozy set in. Even Dorothy Sayers did that one. The Irish Village Mysteries. Cool. Oh, I know, right? There's more than one cozy mystery writer in the fantasy genre who has essentially like made up like a reason that death chases that character, right? It's funny. Yeah, there are so many mysteries I still haven't, in the world that I haven't read. Mystery being one of the most popular genres, I'm sure. I can always find a new cozy series. It's hard sometimes to find a good one because I like good writing. That's why when I stumbled onto the Louise Penny thing, I was like, oh my god, this is what I've been looking for. Very lyrical writing and sometimes. I just love it. I eat it up. Okay, there we go. I think we're shiny, shiny, shiny. Pretty shiny. Good shiny. That's a pretty good shiny. Oh, I need a side here. I need it over here. And this is where you run into that NMM looks good from one direction, but it really needs to look good from all directions. So I need to expand this highlight over here. Even put it a slightly different one. So now we've got a couple of highlights up there, but that's okay. That's how it would be. Nice. Mm-hmm. Alrighty, that's looking pretty good. I'm gonna look at it again under the camera. That seems like I need to get a little bit back here. It's hard to tell whether these are plates on the back of the legs or just bands over things, but I'm just gonna assume she's in full metal, full plate. So I'll block these in as a bit of plate there. Huh. Yeah, I read all the Harry Potter books, but I didn't watch I didn't watch all the movies, not more than one, I think. I think I saw the first one and then I just didn't. I like reading a little better than visual media. Need to bring out the upper part of the sleeve a little bit more, so I put in a shadow so I could rehighlight. Oh, interesting, Quindy, you did it in reverse. I bet a lot of people did, though. Although I think she's up to, Dave and I were looking this up the other night, but I think she's up to 18% of the people in the known world have read Harry Potter or watched movies, have been exposed to the Harry Potter franchise. 18% of the entire world. There we go. Yeah, that's what you call some market share, right, Big Chimpo? Yeah. Alrighty, so that's looking pretty good, I think. I need maybe a little bit more of a line up that leg. I'm getting many texts from my man. What are people saying? Oh, hold on. Fly safe. Have to send him a heart. Hold on. Sending my man a heart. There we go. Yep, you still got my text, so. There we go. Excellent. Sweet. Off to Chicago for David. I made him promise to send me pictures of some of the Golden Demon, the best Golden Demon stuff. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I hate that. Yeah. A little out of order. Yeah, the people who are like so super into a thing that they utterly turn you off on it, like, oh. That was me in Firefly, except I never got back. Like, I never went back. Like, I was pretty much forced to watch the first 5 or 6, I think, episodes, and I was just like, I'm done, and I'm done. I need to fuzz that off too heavy with that. Remember, you can always scrub it off a bit. Much as Joss Whedon has, you know, he does great dialogue and everything, but I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of Westerns. It's a rare Western that makes me want to watch it. And I grew up watching Clint Eastwood, so it's like, I don't know when I kind of fell out of Westerns, or if I just decided at an early kind of age subliminally that Westerns were not my big love. Even space Westerns. Cowboy Bebop is the obvious exception because I like that show. All right, so just touching up little things. I think we're okay. I think we're looking good. Yeah, sometimes when you've got a good thing, you just stop, right? But Hollywood and big production studios seldom get that. They want to milk as much of the IP as they can. Until they just can't anymore. They don't really care if they're leaving corpses behind them, creative corpses. Yeah. Oh my gosh. My brother's favorite, and I think my dad's, was The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I saw that movie so many times when I was a kid. I still have a big affection for Clint Eastwood. He seems like a cool dude. Still one of my bro's favorites. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, for sure. That's true. And the other thing is that there's, like, I think there's just more in-depth world building in the Harry Potter books in some ways. Like in Firefly, it's the ship, right? Like you really get a good sense of all the people in the ship, and through them, you get some experience of the surrounding world. But because you're in space, it's not like there's just one place you hang out, except for the ship. So I think that's why Harry Potter may be a little bit more viral that way, because Hogwarts is detailed so extensively, and it's a big world, right? It's a big thing. And the universe has gone into in a lot of depth. The wizarding one, anyway. So I think that's why people just get stuck in it. And they would rather live there than in the real world. And can I blame them, really? Yeah, right. Yeah, and there's actually there's writers talk about that kind of thing, because there's kind of three 3 things that can catch people about your work. And it's usually, for any given writer, it's usually one of the 3 is much stronger than the others. And world is one of them. One of them is the writer themselves, where the writer themselves is just so, like, their personality and the way they interact with their fans in the world is just so engaging that they get readers because of themselves, because of their own personality, right? And what they stand for. And that's probably the rarest, because a lot of writers are introverts. But then there's the book, right, where people are just like all about the actual books, and that's what they're into. And then there's the world, where the books create such a world that people get completely engaged with it. Yeah. So usually, if you think about the writers you like, it's going to be one of those 3. It's usually the books or the world. Because if a book's just got great writing and you just love to devour them as soon as they come out, that's the books. I'm trying to think if there's an author who I follow more for their personality than the books. I think there is, but it's escaping me. It's actually more, it would probably be more like a mixed media person, because like Amanda Palmer, who's an indie musician who also wrote a great book about being a creative called The Art of Asking. I would say that I'm into her for her personality, like what she stands for, and she's very activist, so I think that follows pretty naturally. But otherwise, it's like Neil Gaiman, I'm in it for the books. And I would say that with Louise Penny, I'm probably in it for her world, because I love her little cozy village. But yeah, I would say that of those, books is the most common. Like, people who are just into your books and they love your books and it's a great experience, and they'll buy up the next one when it comes up, and they just really enjoy them. And then world and author persona are probably because it's hard to write a world that becomes truly beloved, I think. Oh yeah, Quindy. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I used to be on a text roleplay site for Mud, right? For Lord of the Rings. One for Lord of the Rings and one for Werewolf the Apocalypse. Back in the 90s. It's nice to be able to go and just kind of like sit in the world that you love with other people who love the world. All right, I think we're done with armor, guys. I think we are. I'm going to grab her wings and slot them on. Take a look at it now that we've got more covered. Let's see here. All right, little Sophie. What you got? Let's see if I can get her wings to stick. Sometimes they give me troubles. It's especially hard to put one in without popping the other out. Oh, come on. It is very annoying. There we go. Ah, oh no. We've lost one. Houston, we have a problem. Ah, we've lost both. You know, I might be able... but these sword hilts, they're going to get in the way. It's like I could attach them. Yeah, that's kind of a trope, right, though? Like, there are all sorts of tropes in fantasy. Not just the Outcast Village Kid trope. Although that certainly is a trope. No, I'm going to have to just do it. Oh, well. They're not going to stick today, folks. The wings are just like, nope. We're going to have to like just put us down on the ground and put the model on top of us to see how we look. Because I really feel, yeah, those are, if you can see it, I mean, they're totally going to keep me from painting the sword hilts, right? So, there we go. Slytherin, obviously. I don't know. I identify with Gryffindor and Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff. I don't know. I can't remember. I think I came up Ravenclaw when I took the test once. Yeah, I like to just add the wings so I can get a feel for it, right? I'm not surprised, Quindy, that you're a Slytherin because that's where all the goth girls hang out. Like, anybody who's fanficking the goth girl Harry Potter trilogy right now. There we go. There we go. So yeah, it's definitely going to impact my ability to paint these hilts. So I don't want to attach the wings just yet. However, that does argue that if I want to get these wings attached sooner rather than later, that I should paint the things that are keeping me from doing it. So I should probably make the sword hilts kind of a priority. They're in shadow on the back, so I won't have to do a lot to them. Yeah. There are exceptions, right, Inara? Like, you can hate a trope and yet read a book with that trope, but that's done really well and really engagingly, and you can put aside your dislike of the trope. I think that the problem with that trope is it's just been done so many times, and it's been done so many times, just not that great, right? Not that well. Well, unless you're just proud of your Slytherinness. Like, that's the thing, right? Oh, yeah, I'm kind of horrified by that, the Train Your Dragon one. Yeah, she's a great female warrior fig, with or without the wings, you know? Like, she's just got such nice details. So next we should probably, I think, because I know that some of her detailing is going to be red, along with the cloth, I should probably block in the red. We've got a little bit, we got about 10 minutes, so... I'm going to take these wings off. Oh, now they don't want to get on. Now they don't want to come off, right? Stupid wings. I think I'm going to go heraldic red on this. It's a good base. It's not too bright. It gives you room to highlight and shade. It's probably going to be clogged because it's been forever since I used it. Jurassic Park situation all over again. If you can't get a telepathic horse, you'll settle for a dragon, huh? What's up, Keekster? You should be good. We're almost done. We're almost ready for our walk. I'm going to try to get her to eat her breakfast again. I saved it in the fridge. I hate to compost her food, but if she's just not going to eat it today, then that be it. She did okay on the road without David, so I don't know what it is about. Hey, Roger, thanks for the resub. 31 months. On a 30-month streak. Crazy talk. Yeah, right. They'll film it right near Corinico. Like, you probably recognize so many movies, Corinico. All right, so Heraldic's a nice mid-grade red. It's not particularly warm or cool. It's got a very neutral shade to it because we didn't use blue to darken it. We didn't use black. We actually used green. So that's how it can still be a pretty vibrant red, even though it's a kind of a darker mid-red. And I'm going to start with a pretty bright red here because I want it to stand out against that dark armor. So if I started with a dark red, it would be a fight to bring it up, especially against this dark blue armor. It wouldn't stand out as much as I want it to. So when you are trying to do a dark light moderation to make your details on your model stand out, remember that. Like if you're trying to put a mid or a light next to your dark, make sure you don't have like black undercoating on that mid or light. Try to make it a lighter undercoat because that's going to make it pop out on that model a lot more. Yeah, today's going to be a fun day. I have my coaching that I'm so excited about, and then I've got my Overwatch League. I'm super all into it. Today is a fun day, even though David has abandoned us. Hopefully the papa can settle down about it. Yeah, where's our Dragon Riders of Pern? Dang it. I'm going to very gently try to get in here around these hands. And then there's a little tiny bit of cloth at the top there too. And I'll shade around the hands for sure. I'll go darker red with the shading around those because the hands are light and I want them to stand out still. Yep, have fun, Crowley. Thanks for hanging out with us. Okay. I might have buried that thumb. I'm going to get in there with some water and pull it up. I'd have to rebase coat that thumb at this point. Yeah, it's very, very dramatic. There we go. I'll have to come back in on that top part. Oh, bye, Big Chimpo. Hope I didn't miss you. New book day. Oh, but did I miss a... Oh, you're going to get the book? Thank you, Roger. Awesome. I hope you like it. I was telling everybody earlier that now it's all about reviews. Like now that's the next thing to try to get more eyes on my book is to get a decent number of reviews. Because a bunch of people will look at it and then they'll go, oh, but there's no reviews, so I don't know if I'm going to like this book after all, right? So yeah, if you read it and if you like it, if you have the time to leave me a review, you will be my favoriteest people. Yeah, I mean, if you look at Michael Whalen's cover art, it's pretty obvious that the dragons are big. Yeah, Quantum. There we go. Invert that trope. You go write that one. Thank you, Roger. Hey, Wasser, how's it going? We were just finishing up. I was just blocking in some of the red on this model. I'm using a middle grade red, heraldic red from Bones because it has good coverage. It's kind of a medium dark, so it's a good base red. And I'm just blocking in the solid right now. And of course, we'll give it a lot of shading and highlighting to bring out the details, but I need to paint these hilts before I can attach her wings. So Lex Luthor, Superman's arch villain, right? Oh, no, it's different. Okay. Oh, fantastic. So different Luthor. Not a Lex Luthor. Whenever I hear names that are like that are iconic, I'm always like, is it this? But no, it's somebody else like taking that name and making something completely different out of it. But yeah, so we did a lot. We finished our blue black NMM on the armor today. We talked a lot about cozy mysteries and other book series that we might want to read at some point, or that other people have read and loved. Okay, got more cloth in here. Pretty much all the cloth's gonna go red. Yeah, the armor has come around. The armor has come around now. So now it's time to get some more stuff done on this model. Got our big stuff. Yeah, the armor is like the biggest part of the model, right? Bye, Shadow Raven. Good lunch. Yeah, why not a police procedural about Lex Luthor? Let's do that. Pretty much above. This is like a traditional, like, I hate to say it, our USA. It's that overhead diffused source lighting. I did not do a strong source lighting on this one. I just wanted to generalize diffused overhead. I do directed lighting on some pieces, but you know what, Wasser? Often on 28mm, I find that it's not very effective. At least I'm not satisfied with it. The mouseling is the obvious exception that I did. I don't know. I think you were here when we showed him. But most of the time, I'm going to be going for just a general diffused overlights. This is a different, right? This one has the strong light source on the front and then reflected light, cool reflected light on the back. So that is an exception where I was using a strong light source. But honestly, on most 28s, I find that the diffused overhead light source is good enough. There we are. We're back to good enough. Because whenever I make a real solid directed source, I'm really annoyed that I can't highlight everything the way I want to. So, yeah, I know, right? I really kind of want to watch that Lucifer. Is Lucifer good, Kerniko? Because it seems like it has a following, and I was tempted to maybe watch an episode. Ah, thank you, Ink to Pulp. You liked Lucifer? Cool, Cursed. Oh, okay, good. So lots of Lucifer love in the chat. Good. All right, I'll put that on my list then. It had a big budget. Yeah. But yeah, we're working on it. We paint Reaper miniatures on here. Ink to Pulp. So I do it every day, every weekday, as long as there's nothing weird going on. Got bored after a few episodes, Wasser? Yeah. Okay. It got terribly repetitive and tropey. Got it. All right. So if I watch a few episodes, I'll probably like it, but then don't bother to continue watching. Yeah, I got it. Cool, Inara. Thanks, guys. Oh, the Zoom meeting never fired, huh? That happens. That happens. All right, let's get this red in, and then we will close it down, and I can take my sad little puppy for her walk. I think she's just a daddy's girl, you guys. I told David, I think he won. I think he actually won. Because he's rarer, right? She only sees him when he comes home from work and on the weekends. Because he's gone all day, and I'm not. Like, I'm chopped liver. Yeah, it kind of does suck how you've got a lot of different pay gateways to media these days. Twisted Oma. Everybody's trying to monetize. Alrighty, so I think we've got all the red blocked in. Then the sides here are silver, and we've got some leather. I think that's all going to be like silver and gold. Oh, the hilts. The whole point of me starting to do this red stuff in the first place. What is that? That must be a pouch. I'll have to paint that one before I Have to paint the pouch before I put the wings on too. Yeah, it is a pouch. Yeah, I like that when they turn quote-unquote villains into sympathetic characters. It's a nice, if done well, it can be a really nice twist. Kind of like the Wicked books by Gregory, what's his name? Where the Wicked Witch, where the musical is based on. Ah, disposably entertaining. Live action Avatar. I do, Wasser. I used to work for them full time for my first 17 years with the company. I was their paint line designer on site, so it was I was a full-time employee, and actually at one point I was also a company owner. But then when I met David and moved out here to California, I couldn't stay a company owner because you have to live in Texas. That's one of Reaper's bylaws rules. So I stopped being full-time and stopped being company owner, but I became a part-time employee. So I still have, and this is coming up, Quindy, mark it on your calendar, my 20-year anniversary of working for Reaper Miniatures as an employee is April 1st. Yeah, this is a company stream. Yep. It's a Reaper Miniatures channel, so. Yeah, this is really, I mean, we'll go in and we'll add some nice shadows to it, and we'll keep it punchy. We'll keep it punchy, and and the reason we can get away with doing this burnt orange next to this vibrant red is just because we're gonna have neutrals in between, and also this dark blue is helping to separate it. I do have my own stream, Wasser. It's twitch.tv/paintingbig, and I do it on Saturdays. Almost every Saturday lately, although I'll miss if there's something important that David and I have to do on the weekend. So I don't do it I'd say I'd hit 3 out of 4 weeks in a month usually. Yeah, it's right there. The twitch.tv/paintingbig's first link. So yeah, then I work on bigger stuff. Then I've been working on stuff like, I don't know, my glasses are falling off here. Like that's what I've been working on this guy on my personal stream. We're working on the Anubis. We got this, the staff is almost, or the scythe is almost done now. I need to do the bone work on the back. But yeah, so here I can play around a little bit more. I need to do some lighting and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, I do big stuff on my own stream usually with more of a directed lighting effect, because I find it's more effective on bigger things. I like it better on bigger things. I find I have more room to do a reflected light then, so I don't mind doing light sourcing as much. So yeah, that's the dealio. Let me put this mousing back up here. So many models sitting over here. All right. Excellent. Suitably cryptic, yes. Interesting. I'm good. It's good, Turgeon. It's good. Yeah, I'm gonna be so fascinated. That's my favorite part about having my book published, is that now I want to know who people's favorite characters are, right? I really, really do. So that's the fun thing. That's the fun part. But yeah. So hey, and I haven't checked my sales rating for a whole hour and a half. Ooh, it's a record. Yes, Wasser. If you didn't realize that, Reaper Master Series paint, I made this. Like, I created it for Reaper. For 15 years, I hand mixed almost every batch. I created all the colors, I created all the names, I created all the formulas, and then I would mix it every day at the shop. So, Roger, last night we peaked pretty high. Today I think we fell down a little bit. But we are still the #1 bestseller in our category, or in the new releases category. Oh, we can't do links. I didn't paint everything. I was not the staff painter for everything. A lot of other people, famous people, have painted stuff for Reaper. So like Jennifer Haley and Marika Reimer and Liliana Troy have all like and Jessica Rich. Some of the best female mini painters on the planet have painted stuff for Reaper's galleries, along with Michael Proctor and Derek Schubert and a bunch of other fantastic, like I don't even know the newest people who are painting stuff for Reaper, right? But yeah, I actually created the paint. Like I was in the paint shop. So sorry, bots. I mean, everybody wanted me to flavor the paint, and everybody wanted me to flavor the paint, but that was against my personal ethic. Oh. Yeah, we disable all links, Swasser, because otherwise people would spam the channel. Yeah, it doesn't matter. If you're not Quindy, you can't post a link. But, let's see, what are we at? Oh, wow, we went up, actually. We are currently... Yeah. We've gone up to the top 100 in teen and young adult fairy tale and folklore adaptations, which actually is the category I wanted to be in. So that's pretty cool. And our Amazon... Oh, well, look, guys. Look, we've almost broken the top 50,000 in the Kindle store. That's not bad. Not bad. I don't think I actually painted those. But I don't remember, Wasser. I've painted so many things for Reaper. I'd have to look those up. Hold on. But yeah, we have a lot of painters though. No, I did not paint that one. That I think is a Derek. I think. Or that might be actually a Rhonda? What do you think, guys? Let's see. Usually if it's in the Reaper store, it'll tell you. Hold on, I just screwed my iPhone hated me for that. Let's go to there. Maybe I can go. Oh, Derek Schubert. I was right the first time. I should have listened to my gut. So yeah, Derek is one of our sculptors and a friend of mine, and he painted this guy. So you can usually, if you look in the store, you'll see the attribution right there. Derek Schubert. And usually it's Derek will actually sculpt the piece and then he'll paint a copy. And then he'll let Ron use his image. Nope, not this one. And probably not the other one. Because I haven't been a staff painter for a very long time. But if those are Pathfinder, I don't think I've done them. I usually am not looking at... What's the other one? But yeah, probably not. If nothing else, you can always go to Reaper Miniatures YouTube and search for the name, Wasser, and if it doesn't turn up, I haven't painted it. I painted a lot of the older stuff for Reaper, like before this stream also, but then I spent a lot of years just making the paint line, so I ended up not being staff painter for a long time, and now I'm back to, like, a lot of the models I paint on here are going to end up in the Reaper gallery, but yeah. Yeah, so it's Derek's work. Derek and Rhonda are converging. Oh no. But it's a nice paint job. Sweet. But yeah, if you look in the Reaper store and look just down for that attribution, and it'll usually say the name of the painter. But these days I don't do a lot, so. Oh, good, M. Fontana. Woo! Book, round of applause. If you like it, all I can say is if you like it, please review it if you have the time. I would appreciate it so very much. That's the biggest thing that's preventing us from going farther right now is the lack of reviews. But it's just the way, right? The book just came out. Nobody's had time to read it. So yeah. But yay! And when you read it, if you have a favorite character, then you have to tell me. All right. Okay, so that's what we did today, guys, and we're getting actually some really good progress on this model. Once we get things blocked in a little more, we can attach her winglets, and then we'll be looking even better, closer to done. Yeah, I had fun today. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. And thank everybody who's supporting the book. I'm just hoping that there are lots of eyeballs on it right now. Lots of eyeballs. That's the challenge, is getting eyeballs. She looks good with knowing. Yeah, she looks great as just a warrior, right? She'd make a great D&D like warrior, or even a paladin if you painted her in the right colors. Though she doesn't have a shield, but you could convert that probably, put one on her back. Actually, putting a shield across her back up here would be the perfect way to hide those wing holes, and then you got a paladin. So, oh, no Josh today, huh? But yeah, I think she's a great mini either way, Wasser. I agree. I agree. All right, time to take the puppy for a walk. She's rummaging around in there. So I am going to be done. Yeah, is it time, Papa? Is it time, Kiki? And tomorrow, for Friday, we're going to be back to our henna-haired beauty here. And we're going to continue kind of like figuring out the color scheme, right? Because that's what we're doing right now. And we decided we were doing true metallics on this, by the way. So, I feel like, I mean, if you're going WoW Paladin, you could just go with a two-hander, I guess. But I feel like Paladins are protectors, and the shield is iconic for that, Pendrake. That's just my like gut feel. But yeah, definitely not everybody's opinion. But yeah, so here we're blocking in like an undercoat for her medals. So we'll be working probably on that tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Reaper Live should be on. Question mark. Yeah. Fingers crossed, everybody. Fingers crossed. All right. I love you, everybody. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me today. I'm going to go take the puppy for a walk. Thanks, Quindy, for corralling the cats, as always. Yep. And I will talk to you later. Bye, guys. Oh.